I was looking for music that I didn't know. That was a little bit tricky because I grew up in my father's record store and I did know everything, but I didn't know this stuff. Well, Spirit of the Earth is Danielle and Erasmus, but that's not their actual names. Those are their Mexican names. So what I've done is I've asked them what things meant. And I've had a translator, I've had two translators. I had one to translate from the Indian language to Spanish and then Spanish to English. I was down in Rio de Catorce, a little town 6 or 8 hours north of Mexico City. Mm-hmm. It was an old mining town. And I heard there was a Casa de Cultura there, a cultural house there. Yeah. So I wanted to go see what was there, and I went to see it. And there was no one there. The place was empty. The guy that ran the place, who spoke English, came and said, what are you doing here? I said, just thought I'd see what you had here. And then I noticed he had a Yamaha piano. And I said, a little one, a small one. I said, does anybody play it? He said, no, we don't know how to play it. And he said, can you play the piano? Yeah. I said, yes, I can play it. And he said, would you do a concert here? And this is really what happened. And they said, okay. I said, what about those guys? Can they play with me?
And saw instruments in the pictures that
no,
or they were playing?
No, I just asked him. I said, do they? He said, oh yeah, they can do that. They play a violin and a guitar, and the violinist is a singer. However,
but not the way we do, I assume, the violin? Or?
They built the instruments themselves.
They built them?
Yes. The first time we met, I said, and I realized that from here on up, they could play from here on down, they didn't play.
Because they were violin and guitar?
Yeah, so I just said, okay, I'll take the lower 2 octaves, they take the upper 2 octaves, let's see what happens.
Logical, yeah.
It was a very simple idea.
Yeah.
It kind of worked.
Was it organized in time? I mean, or kind of time?
Well, first of all, I had to listen to it till I could figure out what I was hearing. They were interested in me and I was interested in them. And so they wanted to know how the piano works. So I said, okay, I opened the piano and said, and I would point to the click.
These buttons make that.
And I went like this and they jumped. And afterwards, they told me that from then on, every time I played, they called it Philip's piano. But just recently, after all these years, we sat down to play together, and Danielle, the older one, he said, he wanted to tune up. I said, oh, this was, now by this time I'd known him for 6 or 7 years. And after 6 years, they said, let's tune up. Now, is that progress? It's tremendous progress. Yeah. For us, we're talking about a transaction that's happening between musicians. How that transaction is perceived by other people, I have no idea. Yeah. What does happen is we're finding ways of playing together, which we didn't know. I mean, I hear something, I hear a bit of this and it sounds a little bit, maybe I can play with it this way. Or sometimes what I'll do is I'll start down here and then I'll move it to the upper range.
And the span of time is, I mean, that it's 40 minutes, it just works out that way typically, or?
No, we do it because we figure the audience can take about 40 minutes.
And are you is it eye contact that you guys are basically signaling the coda or ending or whatever it might be?
I said, when I get to this place, it means we're at the end. Yeah. They know where it is. Yeah. I mean, we can communicate through language to that extent. I said, okay, we'll play when I'm down here playing this thing, that means I'm near the end. Yeah. And then what will happen, they'll either stop or I'll stop. It doesn't matter. One of us will stop. If they stop, then I'll stop first. But the same way, sometimes they'll start and I won't realize that they've actually started. Oh, we started, okay, I have to start playing. Right. You know, the only language that works for us is the language of music. Yeah. When we start to talk about it, there's nothing to talk about. There's no way to talk about it. The interesting thing is that I thought, well, maybe they'd do it once or twice and that would be it. But over the years now, they seem to look forward to getting together. Yeah. Because something happens, we don't always know what will happen. Yeah.
Well, we're going to be really excited to have you back. It's the first time in a while. You've played here before.
Oh, sure.
Plenty, but are you excited to be back at LPR?
I think this is the right place for this piece. We found the audiences in Mexico and even in California, they were quite quiet and quite respectful. I mean, when you see these guys, have you seen pictures of them?
No.
Oh, okay, I'm not going to tell you anything then. I'm not going to tell you anything you don't need to know.
Okay.
You know, it's something has moved into your life that has never been there before. What can you say? And it's in the world that you thought you knew something about, which is music.
Music.
Yeah, you think you know.
You think you know.
You think you know something, and then it turns out you don't.